and ChatGPT lost me a good amount of money, just like giving me extreme confidence on these on these outlandish bets. And it was like, and then I'd take a picture of the results after. And it was like, oh yeah, if you bet that horse, you would have won this much. I'm like, but you told me not to bet that horse. You told me to bet this other horse, and we didn't win. And I'm like shaming ChatGPT, and like while I'm sitting out there, I'm like, you didn't tell me to bet that horse. You told me to bet this other horse. Like, yeah, you're right, man. This one would have been a good one though, looking back. I'm like,
Looking
damn
back.
it. Like morning. I got my very first ever soccer win of all time last night.
I thought you were gonna say red card.
Now we won 7-3, and I played my
7?
best game. Yeah, 7-3. We were just goal scoring machines. We had these two guys. It's like in these leagues, it's like if you just have a couple good guys that are goal scorers, it's the game changer of everything. It just changes how the team can play against you because they have to guard that. It's like it was just so much different. I did track all of my stats for the game yesterday for warm-ups plus the game, 2 hours and 7 miles that I ran.
It's a lot, dude.
My back and my legs feel like it. Yeah, very sore.
Your knees good?
Well, everything's sore. I think it'll be fine. But yeah, it's crazy how good of a workout it is. But
A lot of running.
all right, this is your episode. I've got some good topics though, so I want to get to a couple. But
Yeah.
this is
I
you.
was gonna say I don't ever want it to just be me talking, but
No, of course
I
not.
think-
but I think I talk too much. So
I think I've got a great idea. Well, I don't know if we could pull it off right now, but we were talking yesterday about the Inc. 5000. So this is a list that people want to be a part of. What a lot of people don't know is that you have to pay to even apply to be on the list. So around $500. So that just right off the bat, let's say only 5,000 people apply. That's $2.5 million. And that would be if only 5,000 people applied, they accepted everyone. Let's assume, at least they got 6,000. I saw an article that said that they estimate they get closer to 7. So, what's that? 3.5 million just on application fees. Then, as we know, you got upsells. What were they upselling? To use the digital version of their logo?
It's like anywhere from like $2,000 to $10,000 to use a digital version of their logo for a year, and that's like per logo. And they have like 20 different logos you could choose from. I will say, so the application fee was actually early fee was $395, the regular fee that it increases to is $595. So it goes from $400 to $600. So probably right in that 500 range on average. But what I would say is like that application fee probably they probably break even on that with the cost that they have to pay the people that administer the list and like build the website and build all the profiles and vet all the experiences, plus the actual cost of the conference itself. Like on that side, now they do charge you a hefty fee to go to the
I was about to say that pays for that.
But what I'm saying is that's probably all now like closer to profit.
And who knows this vetting process? It's probably ChatGPT. Go rank these guys. And
Yeah,
they're paying
for sure.
$20 a month.
For sure.
But
yeah,
then you got the conference, which is $3,000. Upsells closer to 5 to 6. And so, you're assuming, I'm sure some people are paying all these upsells. So it's got to be close to 10 million just off that. And I know a big company, like that's nothing to them. But in my mind, I'm like, I think other people, and then you got the Seattle Met, right? The Top Doctor stuff. So what I was thinking was like this business of awards, like the Seattle Met. One of our PTs won it, and they were trying to charge us 5 to 10 grand to publish like extra stuff
Full
for
page
the
ad. That's how they all sell you, is like a full page or half page. It's basically like their money is made on advertising. And
yeah.
instead of like selling advertising to businesses, like, hey, Athletic Greens come in, like sponsor this. What they do is they sell the advertising to the person who won. It's genius. It's like you're honoring someone, and then you're like, hey, by the way, like if you want this really broadcast the right way, here's the fee.
You're hitting on emotion, right?
Yep.
Stroking their ego. Dude, of course you want to get more publicity out of this. This is huge, man. Like, congrats on winning. Um, I think everyone with a brand should be doing some form of this just as an extra revenue stream. And my biggest one, I think that I really think Whoop could pull this off to do like the longevity awards or something, or like here's the top gym, the top Whoop rated gyms, here's the top Whoop rated PT, the top supplement or whatever, and just roll in the cash. I think CrossFit, if they didn't already do it, they should have done top gym, and then you got to pay to talk about it. I think the APTA should do it, like best rated clinic. Um,
Yeah, there's a lot of money to be made on awards and all that kind of stuff. I wonder, I'm curious if like these awards, like how much of the profit now of like Inc. Obviously, Inc. magazine was like their original business model, and like they've had to pivot a lot. Obviously, as like published magazines is not huge. I'm sure like the majority of what they make is off advertising on their actual website. But I'm curious what percentage of their profit or revenue is from like this conference or other ones.
well, I know
Yeah.
Seattle Met, like they do it, they do a different type of thing every month. It sounded like, and just all those, I guess, yeah. It kind of seems like all those companies have pivoted to that, right? Of like, how can we just like create something to sell you, and then uh, run ads, like.
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes back to that whole conversation of like every business is not the business that you think it is.
Mhm.
Like again, we've talked about this on previous podcasts, but I see, like I was looking at Alaska Airlines' Twitter the other day, or their X profile or whatever. Um, and almost every other post has something to do with their credit card, like the miles you get, hey, free 75,000 miles, this and that, because their whole business is predicated on that credit card deal. Like they make so much revenue off that credit card, and so it's it's like that's what they want to sell. And most of the time you could tell, like based on when you go to someone's website or their social media profile, like what their main business is.
Yeah.
And because just by the sheer number of posts that they do, um, obviously like these companies are doing it wrong. They're doing so many right hooks and not that many jabs. Like, I mean, think about like a Michelin. Michelin was smart how they did their business model to try to get people to travel on their tires. Obviously, they created like now it's kind of like obsolete ish, but it's like Michelin star system to get people more traveled. I also wonder if there's any money involved in getting a Michelin star. If
There
there's like,
is.
hey, by the way, you want a Michelin star. Oh, do you want
So
this full page ad on on Michelin Guide?
so I read that, I don't know if you're paying to get the star, but you know how like in Seattle or Washington they aren't here. Like certain countries and cities are paying them to come and be a part of it and rate their restaurants. They said like they said South Korea paid them like $10 million to come out and rate restaurants because they wanted to help with tourism. Obviously, that's going to help. Now they said like Michelin's such a big company, like tires wise, that this isn't really a big part of their revenue, but it was more of the brand play. But I think you could win on both sides. right? Like Ice Physio should do it. Not because I think they're going to generate $10 million off of it, but just as a brand play. I even think the prehab guys should do it, dude. Like, you got so many followers. If you start rating all these different aspects of PT, like, I think people would like be proud of it, and I think that it just strengthens your brand when someone else is saying like, you rated them great, and I'm proud. I'm like, shoot, well, the people rating it must be awesome, right?
For sure. And well, it's also an interesting model because right now, when you do one of those certifications, you get listed on their website, on their map. So it's like the find the provider kind of deal. I could see that being like, hey, would you like a featured thing? Or almost like Google Ads, where it's like, do you want to pay to be like on the top of this per month to be on the top in your area? And it's like, we sell the spots. It's just like it becomes a whole different model of business because then you have to have salespeople trying to sell that spot and like, but it could definitely be lucrative. I mean, that's literally Google search's entire business is paid upon like paying to be shown up higher. And so now these other companies are just doing that on a micro scale where they're like, hey, by the way, this is the amount of people we get on our website. Would you like to pay to be at the top of this specific website, not Google? So ideally it'd be
Or
cheaper than Google is, but
yeah,
sometimes it's like per view, it's not.
yeah, because they're not getting that much traffic. But what
Yeah.
was it like those sites where it's like 20 best gadgets for the year of this year, and like you would find out that all of those are paid.
Yeah, I know. I never think of those websites the same. Like you go to a website and you're like, all right, what's the top 10 mattresses? And it's like
Yeah.
that whole thing was created off of advertising dollars and people paying to be on that list and be reviewed. Uh and it's like I understand the Inc. 5000 thing where it's like the good thing about the paid application fee is it weeds out a lot of the people who aren't serious. I'm sure if it was free or you had to go and like pay researchers to find the companies, it's like imagine that's like MLB scouting. It's like that person's got to go and just dig to the depths because these are all private companies. So none of this data is available. So how do you even do it, right? Like without charging some or without having scouts or people reaching out, how do you do it? Well, you have to create a fee based system so that at least you don't get a million applications. You have to set it really high enough so that like even if it's like $20 or $50 or $100, there's gonna be too many applicants. Whereas like 400 is like, okay, that's getting up there, especially knowing that like you aren't guaranteed to make the list by paying for the application. And so I think it like weeds out a lot of the applications that they would have to go through. Um,
It does start to, I don't know, a lot of these things start to rub me the wrong way. Just all these crazy upsells where you're like, all right, I guess I think the main point too is like perception is so different than reality when you really talk to a lot of people. Like even me, I would have never assumed it was like that. Um, you kind of think like, oh, there are scouts that just pick you out and like just like uh I don't know. It is pretty interesting
the
when you
whole
actually
world that we live in online and on the internet and in person is all manufactured by advertising and I mean, it's even politics. You think about this as like we're talking about like $400 to $600 pay to play to get into an Inc. 5000 list. I mean, we know people that like you're paying $100,000 to go to a dinner at like a charity event just to be able to get into the room for things. It's like the pay to play thing is like it's the whole world, and then everything that's put in front of you is advertising. I mean, even down to like products. It's like Nike doesn't make the best of anything. It's like it's not the most quality of anything. People think it is because of how well they've done advertising and the people that wear it. But like even when you watch a show like that one where Shaq is trying to turn around Reebok, it's like the shoe is designed and made, and then they try to just find a player to wear it. It's not like the player most of the time has really much input besides like when you get to like a LeBron or Michael Jordan level. But it's
right.
like these designers are making a shoe they think will sell, and then they're just trying to find the right athlete to put it on. And it's like and then it's like that endorsement is like, oh, this is player approved, but it's like, yeah, it's player approved because, like, they paid to put it on the player. It's kind of like designed to NFL specifications on like the Nike like on field gear. It's like, yeah, I
Well,
mean, anything they put forward is going to be designed to the specifications of the NFL because they paid to put it on the players. It's like, what's the
well,
specification?
I like the thought of like how Nike shoes are super skinny because it looks better, but you don't
Yeah.
you assume they're making the best shoe for you. It's like, no.
It's called first fit and feel. So that's a really interesting advertising concept of like, especially like shoes, how they've had to adapt over time, where uh, you used to have really skilled shoe salesmen who would sell you a shoe and they would sell you on all of the benefits of that shoe. Now it's like the majority, like you walk into a Nike store, the majority of it is like you're trying it on by yourself. The people there don't have, I've never gotten any advice. It's just like, hey, what size do you want? And matter of fact, they don't even barely measure your foot anymore. Like you have to go into a specialty shoe store to get measured for the right shoe
Running
size.
stores usually, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So then companies like Nike and Adidas who want to sell mass volume, they have to capitalize on something called first fit and feel, which means it has to feel really good the first time you put it on. It doesn't matter how it actually feels and holds up when you actually do whatever you're supposed to be doing in it because it's the initial sale. So it has to feel really cushiony and soft. It has to feel so, oh my God, I put my foot in this. Oh, this shoe is so comfortable. Where people mistake comfort, like first try on comfort, for like performance, right? But that's not the case. And then when you look down at the shoe from top view, because most people don't look in the mirror at their foot, it has to look good from the top down. And so aesthetic appeal is like a more pointed shoe. And this is how we've kind of ended up in the world that we're in. And it's a super interesting concept because then you get companies like New Balance or Brooks who get purchased by private equity companies. And like they're like, we need to sell at larger volume and we need to sell in like Dick's Sporting Goods and places where there's non-skilled shoe salesmen. Like then we have to design the shoe to sell in that market. And so,
Right.
man, that's it. And then it's like you think you're getting the best shoe, but you're not. And I noticed a huge drop off in some of these shoe brands once they got purchased by private equity companies. And obviously, private equity didn't come in and go, "Hey, we should use more superior ingredient
Yeah.
products and like foam and like
I want
all."
less margin. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's like everything gets cut. They like the design gets warped and then the only ones that have held strong to their design so far, I think, is like Hoka, and those things are really hard to sell, but they're almost like the anti-product, right? That's their positioning
Right.
is like, hey, all these shitty shoes that just like are pointy and don't do what you need, like this is the actual shoe for performance and health, and like they sell a lot of shoes that way.
The other thing I had, so along the lines of like perception, is we were talking about the other day, man. Like the deeper you get into owning a business, you start to realize like so many businesses are actually not making money. But to the outside eye, like I think a lot of people, and this is a great like recently you've got the WNBA, right? Apparently they lose $40 million a year or whatever, and everyone's like, you know, oh, see how are they even around? How are they even surviving? And it's like, dude, most businesses don't make any money. There's a lot of businesses that don't make any money. But when you hear those stats for them, you think it's absurd. But if you started to go around to all these bigger chains or bigger organizations, you'd probably look and be like, damn, a lot of them don't make any money. Um,
Well, this is an interesting topic because I actually had this as one of my bulleted lists about this WNBA thing, and because I think it's really silly that people are like, because by the way, I used to be in this camp of like, oh, WNBA players, they should get paid what they're getting paid because like it doesn't make any money until you start to understand business and you actually look at the business model of this. And
Yeah.
so here's the crazy thing about the WNBA, and someone tweeted this the other day. Some like big account on X was like, they said the WNBA doesn't loses $10 million a year. These players should not get paid anything. And I tweeted back at this person was like, Uber doesn't make any money every year. Should the employees of Uber not make any money? Or like X, the platform we're on, loses money every year. Should all the employees of X not make any money? They should just work for free. What they're missing is not revenue generation. It's creation of team value, right? So you're talking about enterprise value versus income. And in this case, enterprise value is so much more valuable to the people who own these types of franchises than something else. So check this out. I looked at recent expansion, WNBA, like value creation. And so if you look back, the Seattle Storm, I believe, were purchased for $5 or $10 million back in 2008. And now what's crazy is every single year that a new team is expanded, it's become more expensive for the joining fee. So for like the Golden State Valkyries, they are debuted in 2025. The expansion fee is reportedly $50 million. There's a team, Toronto Tempo, that are joining in 2026 that also paid 50. But then there's a 2026 team that's also coming in, Portland Fire, that's going to be 125. And then check this out. Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia, set to launch in 2023, each have paid $250 million fee, franchising fee. So that already sets the base value, not given that the Storm have any other intellectual property, any other value created outside of just the franchising fee. That makes the Storm worth $250 million because it's $250 million to join the league now. And so you've turned a company that was, or a team that was 10 million into 250 million easy. So that team probably actually sells for 300. And so whoever owns that has now in 17 years gone from 10 million to $300 million. And that's a tax vehicle for that person, right? Like a write-off, and there's huge tax incentives for owning a professional team. Not to mention the folks that own these, this is a good way to pass down like money to relatives. And I don't know how the taxes work on inheritance of like a team like this, or if you put it in a trust and how this all works, but it seems like there's probably some really good loopholes to pass down a lot of money without paying as much taxes as if you just sold it and then gave them that cash. And so like you look at all these leagues and it's like, of course, these WNBA players should get paid more because now you've created a 10x value proposition and growing. And this so they're getting paid $80,000 to help generate enterprise value from 10 million to 300 million. It's like, that's insane. At the very least, they should own some sort of percentage share of the team that they're on. Cause it's like, if that's what you're talking about, value creation, because that's what a lot of these tech companies do, right? It's like you work at Amazon, you get a base salary and then you get incentives. Like your stock is basically like, how much does this team increase? And so it's like, imagine if WNBA players were like, hey, I have 1% share of a $300 million company now. Like, damn, that's going to be a lot of more money than $80,000. So like, I think people are just looking at this wrong, but it's crazy to look, dude. Like these sports teams have gone up, like all these different leagues. Sorry, when I talked about the Seattle Storm, I was thinking about Seattle Sounders. The Storm, they were one of the 12 initial teams, so there was actually no cost franchising fee to start. It was just like they were in. I believe for the MLS, because like people like think about value of like these NBA franchises in the NFL, but dude, some of these are crazy values anyway. Like, so I think the Seattle Sounders were a $10 million purchase or $12 million purchase, and the most recent addition to the MLS was San Diego FC, $500 million franchise fee on an MLS team, which basically makes again, because it costs that much to start one, that sets the base price for any franchise in my mind at 500 million, because it's like you can't get into the league for less than that. You may as well buy a franchise at that point for 500 million that's already up and running with the players and with the staff and with the facilities and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well,
One,
I've heard if you look at the books for all these teams too, the way they do it, it looks like they all lose money every year as well. So it's
well,
like,
that's the other thing that people that are talking on X and this is like, I don't have a deep understanding of this because I don't own a professional team, but enough of my research and understanding how businesses work, these folks are showing losses on paper, but they could be making money because like for example, the Sounders, they built this facility. Maybe they spend $1 billion on that. They get to amortize that over 15 years. And so what is $1 billion over 15 years amortized? So it's like, let's say you amortize it over 10 years just to make it even. So you're on the books writing off $100 million a year. But what if
exactly.
you're making 80 in cash? It looks like you lost 20, but you're really bringing in 80. And if the loan payment, like the loan payment on that could be less. So for this time period, you could be making money, but showing a loss on paper. And people
That's what I'm
don't
saying. It's like,
understand how that all works. But there's so many ways that you can structure
yeah.
debt and like amortize it over time to make it look like you're making no money, but you actually are.
And I'll, I'm so over like making claims based off, well, I heard they lose 50 million a year. It's like, who said that? Like, and vice versa, right? Who says they are making money? No one actually knows. So I'm not really like gonna make these like bold statements.
Well, especially
But
because the WNBA is so weird because it's actually somehow financially tied into the NBA. And
so you
so
couldn't even break it out, really. Like,
the actual P&L is actually so like it's so murky because I would assume some of the ad dollars are shared between yeah, so it's like it's hard to understand where everyone is. What I do know is this. When the highest paid player in the WNBA is $230,000, but the company is worth 300 million. I don't think that's the right value,
yeah,
like thing comparatively to a team that okay, the Lakers are worth 10 billion, but it's like the top player on that team be making you know $90 million a year versus 200,000? There's a big differential in gap versus like
yeah.
value and enterprise value created, and so like that's where I kind of
And
get lost.
I think people are lost in the argument that I don't think they want to make 90 mil a year. I think they just don't want to make 70K.
Yeah,
Which
I think there's like a happy medium, especially like I think the top players in the WNBA should be making well over $1 million a year. That's crazy to me that Caitlin Clark is making 70. Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And obviously she's rookie, so she's on the rookie contract, but still, like you have like the top WNBA players making 200 grand. I think the top salary is like 220. That's crazy.
Yeah. And what's funny is like if you do research on the NBA before Jordan, it was kind of like the WNBA before like 5 years ago. Like no one paid attention to it. No one cared. You watch highlights, it wasn't fun to watch. Jordan came in, made it fun, and then you started to see more stars, and it's kind of what Caitlin Clark reminds me of like you're like, whoa, this person is just like head and shoulders better and like more fun to watch, and then you see more people start to come out of the woodworks that are fun as well, and that's how the league sparked. Like there was there was talk before Jordan that the NBA wasn't even gonna survive,
Yep.
and and
That's crazy.
that's also why like David Stern did whatever Jordan wanted, and they all like the whole rumor that he got in trouble for gambling was like he the whole rumor is that he covered it up because he's like, dude, this is our savior. I can't let him go down.
Yeah, he was like basically like you got to go and stay in another league for a while and like just let the heat die down. And
Yeah.
thank God there was no social media for them back then because like obviously that would have probably gotten sniffed out.
Oh, for sure.
Well, and
But
there's no like algorithms and like, dude, it's crazy when I see players getting caught for betting. It's like, dude, you don't
Yeah.
think someone was gonna get alerted when it was like 300 grand every night on your under? Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't think any like algorithm was gonna flag this betting when you're just betting ridiculous amounts of money on yourself to like hit the under? It's so stupid.
It is crazy.
But like I saw, so Caitlin Clark, she was wearing a that shirt that said "I deserve NBA money." What do you think about that?
I didn't know she wore that, but
Yeah, I saw
I
her wearing
think
a shirt that said "I deserve NBA money" because I saw that like they were all wearing like "We deserve this that," but like for different nights, I guess maybe they're wearing different shirts. But I saw a picture of her wearing that.
uh I
Who knows?
think
Maybe it was AI created, but I think she was wearing it. But what do you think about that? I mean, I think a person like Caitlin Clark probably deserves at least what like the lower tier of NBA players are getting paid.
I think she should go for the equity deal or something, like give me a part of the team, of a part of the league or something, because she they show it like ratings before her and after her, or like ratings when she sits out. It's crazy how she really moves that. Kind of like she reminds me of like McGregor in the UFC, where it's like
Yeah.
everyone's here for me. And maybe
Yeah.
that's how they should start to do it, is like the people that are the draw, they
Yeah.
get the
Well, I mean, a prime example of it is Lionel Messi in the MLS.
yeah.
He went to Miami, and not only did he get his salary plus equity, he also gets a percentage of the revenue dollars from the Apple TV deal. And it
Yeah.
was because like everybody wants to watch him. And if you try to go to a Miami game versus any MLS team, it's sold out. So it's like, and that's why he wanted a percentage of the entire MLS revenue stream because he's like, any game I play in at any stadium, I'm drawing more fans and more people are watching on Apple TV. And so I should get more money. And that's Caitlin Clark. It's like any team that she goes and plays, I guarantee you the attendance is higher and the streams are higher. And so it's
Yep.
like, it's not even, and I'm sure like she's also having an impact across the league, like Messi does. Like he brings more attention worldwide because other people in other countries like South America are like, whoa, best player in the world is playing the MLS. Let's watch some MLS games, right? So like you raise all of those and you just have a huge spike on your personal games that you're in. And so like the value creation is crazy because even though he plays for Miami, the Sounders are getting more enterprise value. So like the
Sure.
league has to pay him for added enterprise value. So they're saying his deal is probably like 200 close to 210 million over two and a half years. So like, he's getting crazy money, $200 million in 2.5 years. And
Well,
he's a fucking goal scoring machine. It's so easy.
yeah.
Like you see, he like runs less than anyone already when he was on Barcelona. And now it's just like MLS is just like a walk in the park
Too
for
easy
Lionel
for him.
Messi. And he's getting paid 200 million. I love it.
What do you think about I saw Shaq, he said they should lower the rims in the WNBA. I was like, that's
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
I would be interested to see like a preseason game. The problem is any shooter like Caitlin Clark,
Yeah, it'd be affected.
I just wonder how fast it would be to recalibrate to like a 9 foot rim. But it's because, dude, people love the breakaway dunk, man. Like,
Well,
there's a
dude,
reason.
their layups and stuff, they miss. I've watched a good amount of highlights. They miss so many layups because they can't get up. Like they can't. They don't jump as fast as high like like the NBA. So they're not at a right angle, and they hit bottom rim
Well,
so often.
well, the NBA players think about this. Like when they're laying the ball up, they could have probably just dunked it. They were just at a weird angle to do
It's
it.
literally laying it. It's laying it up.
Well,
Like
yeah, their fingers are like touching the glass at the bottom of the square, and they're like setting it into the box that shows you how it goes in the hoop. It's like what
mhm.
you learn as a kid is like bank shot. You hit that little square and it goes in the hoop at the right angle, right? It's like that. It's like guaranteed. When an NBA player misses a layup, it is ridiculous. Like that basically walks back with his tail between his legs because he's like, damn, I just missed the
Yeah.
open layup. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, you do get a lot of that. And people like the excitement of like a LeBron like steal the breakaway dunk with the big air. Like, but the problem is like I don't know if it looks like that with lower rims. I don't know. Like it's just like the NBA where they've talked about raising the rim because they're like, oh, it's too easy for these guys to dunk now. It's like not even hard. So it's like, what's the happy medium? I don't know. I think eventually you're going to get a lot more WNBA players who could just dunk.
That's well,
Like
you're
you're
seeing
starting to
like
already see
yeah.
more women who can dunk. And I think like with more attention to the game and more like people entering that anyway, I think you just get more people that can dunk eventually. So who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe it's at the right height and you just got to wait till because like again, there was like think about the 70s and 80s. There probably wasn't as many guys dunking as like everybody in the league can dunk now. It's like if you're in the league and you can't dunk, that's crazy.
Hmm.
But like before, it wasn't like that.
It's like it just adapted to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like because everybody's just getting more athletic. Like it's just, I mean, you see it more and more. You see kids that are like, dude, when we were kids, there wasn't 13-year-olds dunking like crazy. Now there's like 13, 14-year-olds that are just like windmilling from from like
Hmm.
mid free throw line. But yeah, I think I don't know. I'm not an expert on this type of stuff and like how to improve the actual like product, but I think like I don't know. I think you could still make it fun, and I think there's a place for WNBA, just in the fact that like we were talking about this with soccer is like MLS isn't the only pro league that exists in the US and like MLS games are really expensive and so a lot of families choose to go to USL championship games in their cities and so maybe WNBA is like like that where it's fun family event. It's all about what you put on. You don't want to make it a circus, but like even like think about like what the Savannah Bananas are doing, man. It's like their baseball is not a superior baseball product. They've just really tied in entertainment with it. And
Hmm.
so like if you can make it like a family fun outing at a WNBA game where there's like cool stuff at halftime to watch and like really doing like it bigger than what the NBA is, I think you could bring in a wider fan base too. But again, like that's not my expertise.
Yeah, I think they need to maybe not try to copy the NBA and try and find their own spin on it, you know? I don't know what that is, but like you said, like maybe it does include some different things that I actually saw just random, but that Coldplay concert with that CEO.
Yeah.
They start doing that at stadiums now. It's like the Coldplay, the CEO cam, and everyone's like holding somebody, and then they run off.
I've seen that. That
It's
dude,
so
just
good,
poor dude. I mean, he brought it on himself.
dude. He resigned too.
Yeah, which essentially means getting fired at that.
Yeah,
When you're a
at that
CEO,
stage.
when you're a CEO, you don't get fired. You just like a bunch of people come into your office and say, "Yeah, you got to resign," and they're like, "All right, I'll resign."
I
that's
mean,
the
he's got money, so he ain't hurting. I'm sure.
yeah, yep, yep. I mean, again, that's got to be mentally a brutal position to be in, but yeah, he brought that on himself.
Uh,
Yeah,
the only other, I just have one quick one. Have you read the Kevin Hart his book?
I haven't.
Oh man, it's so good. It's so good just hearing like the come up story of his like he's such a huge star now, but he freaking grinded it out, man. But one interesting thing I read, you remember his first stand up special, right? I think we were all in college when that came out. It was called "I'm a Grown Little Man," and
Yep.
he was talking about that. He had no money when that went on. He literally had all his credit cards were maxed out. He couldn't even fly to go do the. He planned. He rented out this venue to do it because he was trying to blow up. He had all his credit cards were maxed out. He had no money. He borrowed it for someone. Got a flight out. he then had to go get a checkbook from his bank, start writing checks that were going to bounce for the hotel and food, and film that. And obviously, like eventually it helped him out, but it just is one of those things, you're watching it, you're probably thinking like, oh, this guy's a famous comedian, he's so rich or whatever. And it's like, you just never know what's really going on. Because dude, he's like, my account had 17 cents in it. Like, I just like,
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's just one of those things where it's like nothing is ever as it seems. Again, it's like where people look at a business from the outside and you go, wow, it looks like they're crushing it. It's like they could have a million customers and still be losing money. It's like Uber. Like people just assume that, again, to go back to the Uber example, because it's like it's mind blowing that they don't make money. But it's like people just assume, like, oh my God, everyone takes Uber. They must make so much money. It's like, yeah, but they're not actually making money. They're like enterprise value is going up and like the customer base is going up, but eventually you have to figure out how to turn that and make it profitable. But the same thing about people's lives, man. It's like that's the social media myth where it's like people post their best things, they aren't going to post their losses.
yeah,
And they're certainly not going to post when they're struggling. Like we've met with a lot of business owners who lose money year after year and it's just like are struggling. But from the outside, you're like, wow, I would have never guessed that you're just like losing money. Like this is crazy. Um,
and
you
he
never
he
believe
also
what you see.
gave away all those seats in that stadium for free too. So he made no money off that, paid money for it. But that's the
Yeah.
perfect thing. That's social media for you, right? It's like you
Yeah,
look at
packed
that, be
out
like,
concerts. Like, oh yeah, we actually paid these people to be here.
yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. I'll have to read that book. It looks like a good one. I'll put on my list.
it's good.
Seems like a fun one. I got one short fun one, and then we can wrap up. Um, I went to the horse races this past weekend, and halfway through, I was like, I wonder how good ChatGPT is at like betting
Betting.
horses. And so basically, I let ChatGPT do all of my betting. And so how I did it was I would take a picture of the program and then my father-in-law had like the full like so they make like a abbreviated program which has like the horses and some like basic stats and then they make this like really in-depth one about like all the races it's run and like it's way more in-depth. So I took a picture of both, I'd put it in a chat gpt and I'd be like, all right, what are we doing here? And my takeaways are it's really fun because it's just fun to like because dude, it reads these pictures really well. It's like, oh man, this is the fastest horse. This is what it's done. It's actually raced this other horse that's in this race before and it beat it. And it's like, whoa, that's crazy. Like it's pulling out so many details that I would have never known. And everyone, we had like 10 people that were at the table and they were like, what is ChatGPT saying about this race? And I was like, giving them all the rundown. I'm like, oh man, this horse is actually the fastest. It didn't run well last time. So it was really fun. Uh, it's extremely convincing because like it doesn't be like, oh, could like this, like it's like, no, this is the lock, baby. This one's the one this is the sleeper bet. This
And
one, huge
you
huge value bet.
you tell
And
it, no, it's not, and it's like, yeah, you're right, it's not. You're like, what?
yeah, and surprise surprise, not that accurate. I actually, so solo me, I picked three winners while I was there, win play show, and ChatGPT lost me a good amount of money, just like giving me extreme confidence on these on these outlandish bets. And it was like, and then I'd take a picture of the results after. And it was like, oh yeah, if you bet that horse, you would have won this much. I'm like, but you told me not to bet that horse. You told me to bet this other horse, and we didn't win. And I'm like shaming ChatGPT, and like while I'm sitting out there, I'm like, you didn't tell me to bet that horse. You told me to bet this other horse. Like, yeah, you're right, man. This one would have been a good one though, looking back. I'm like,
Looking
damn
back.
it. Like you told me wrong, but super fun. I will definitely use it in the future. I think in some way. I think it
But it
just
didn't
was
work.
like, what?
It didn't work.
But I had so much fun, dude. And
Yeah.
and that's what betting's all about.
You should have been like, are you in? Are you in for 100, dude?
Yeah, because I don't know. I think the fun part was like maybe I'd ask like less what the bets should be and more like just give me a breakdown on these horses. Um, and it was just a fun way. Like I was like, I was betting 20, $30 a race. So like decent bets comparatively to like the people that I was with, but I ended up being down like $40 or something like that at the end of the day. I hit a couple 50s and $60 wins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them from ChatGPT, but it was fun. It just, I think about like AI and like just like increasing the fun of your experience because like me as like a nerd, I was just enjoying like it would like read the name of the trainer and be like, oh, this guy's out of Southern California. He's been breeding horses for 25 years. And like it just was like it was like a color commentator in my pocket on the different horses and like its success. Like it just gave so much more like background to things. And that's like, I guess like that's what I like. Like I'm the kind of guy who like anytime I don't know something, I Google it or now I like run it through ChatGPT as well. And so I think like I'm gonna start trying to do more of that type of stuff of like, it's like even like you go to a baseball game and like you don't know anything about the people. It's like, hey, like tell me all about these players because that's some of the fun of like sports and things like this is like knowing the background story, knowing the dramas that have happened within the sport or whatever. And so it's so much more fun than just going to a racetrack and like being like, yeah, that one sounds like it has a good name, and like, oh, it looks like it might, like I have no idea, right? Like what horse is going to win and why. Like I can convince myself to try to know, but it's just like I think that might be the future of some of this fun stuff, which is like AI enhancements. And so who knows? Maybe the WNBA, that's the move. Is like, hey, I'm here. Here's the things you can do to enhance your experience while you're here. So you can like learn about these players' stories and like all that stuff. And I know that's what my mother-in-law loves to do about the Super Bowl and like NFL Sundays, watch all the stories of like, they pick out a player before the game and they tell the whole story and they show their background and what they went through. It's kind of like this Kevin Hart book, right? Makes you like the person more because you see what they've been through to get what they are. And so I think connecting the story more makes you enjoy things better. And I think most businesses can learn something from that as well. The better you tell the story and help your customer connect with your product versus not, like, it's Bombas, right? Donating a pair of socks to this or that because of, their story and all these brands that do really well besides like the big brands, like the ones that kind of like unseat the incumbents seem like they have some sort of like relatively compelling story to go along with their product. And people will purchase based on the story. I mean, I find myself all the time at the farmer's market buying stuff because I talked to the person who created it and is like telling me the story about why they did it and all the passion behind it and all that. And like once you see that, it makes you want to purchase that thing.
It's not always the best products, it's who can tell the story the best. That's kind of how it's always been. But that reminds me of what that Darmesh guy said. He's like, it's not you versus AI, it's you to the power of AI. That stuck with me a lot because it's like you're walking in to that thing like, how can I use AI to enhance my experience? It's not like, oh no, I don't want to use it because it's just gonna make it weird. It's like, no, it's just a quicker way. You could have stayed up all night and figured all that stuff out, right? But no, I just want to get it on the spot. Like,
Yeah. And it was super fun because the other thing I could do with it, I could take live pictures because like how horse racing works is the odds are updated live, and you don't get the odds at what you bet the horse at. It's what the race goes off at. And so I would start every 5 minutes because it's like 20 minutes between each race. Every 5 minutes, I would take a picture of the live odds, and it would keep on updating its prediction. And it would do things like, oh, people are dumping money into this horse, or oh, it started the morning line at 5-1 odds and now it's dropping to 20-1. The betting pool thinks that this horse is fading and not going to do well based on who knows what variety of factors. Yeah. So kind of fun and like, yeah, it's like that enhanced my ability. Who knows? Like all of that was luck for me. When I picked those winners, it was literally based on nothing else but a gut feeling.
yeah.
And so very many times I've been to the racetrack and won nothing. And so as much as I want to relate it to like my great picking, it really was just based on luck and I picked the right horse and it just
So it
happened.
was telling you who to pick or no?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know it
Yeah.
would do that.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you ask it and it tells you, and then you're like, what type of bet should I put down? It's like, oh,
Really?
here's an exacta box. Here's the four horses to include. This is why. If you really want a higher, like, it, a riskier pick, here's the other horse you should add in instead of this one. And so it was like, yeah, it was like giving me a full betting sheet.
I wonder if you could do that like DraftKings, or, just like
For sure. I mean, for sure you could.
I thought it wouldn't. I didn't think it would give you advice on that. Like I thought they
It
would
does.
draw the line
It didn't
somewhere.
seem to. It didn't seem to have any ethical issues when I was asking it questions. It
You
was,
should have been like, "Damn it, that was all my savings." See what it says?
and then no, it will no longer ever give me a betting
It
option
logs
again.
you out. You're like, "What?"
And I'm suing you. I'm suing you. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it didn't seem to have any ethical dilemmas with telling me about betting. But yeah, I think that's. I mean, I enhance my experience all the time with like, I go to a monument and it's like, hey, tell me about this place. I can see like full AI tours, right? You go to New York, you take a picture of a building or like a restaurant. You go, tell me the history of this restaurant. It's going to be able to give you a way more detailed thing. And I hadn't ever used AI like this, where I was just like taking pictures of things. I'd never used
Yeah.
ChatGPT that way. Super fun. I highly recommend trying it. I'm going to be doing it a lot more, trying to figure stuff out. Even like, imagine this: go to a restaurant, take a picture of the menu. Hey, I usually like this type of thing. What's the best thing for me on this menu? And what's something new that I haven't tried, right? Because it knows your history. Hey, tell me about a menu item that would be interesting for me, but I haven't probably tried it before. That's super cool.
And by the way, you take a picture of that building, be like, "Give me a history lesson on it," and say it like one of the best storytellers ever, right? So it's actually interesting, Like
Yeah.
you could create, hey, and write it in a at a third grade level, so my kid can read it or whatever, Like you can deliver so much cool stuff from that.
Well, I think about it like this too. Like, go to an art museum and you don't have any appreciation for art, but you type in the prompt to ChatGPT and say, "Hey, I'm not really an art person. Here are my interests. Tell me about this painting and give me any any information about the painting or the artist or anything that would be interesting to me in like a business sense or
Yeah.
from a like history perspective." And then maybe it'll create you a custom tour, right? Of like, hey, here are the paintings you'll really like, and this is why. And I think you can gain a lot of appreciation for something based on like, again, understanding the story. Because most of my appreciation of things comes from like the understanding of the actual story itself. And that just adds to it so much. And I mean, you have to be a person, like I'm a person who just really loves information. Like I love learning. And so it's really exciting for me actually to think about the fact that, oh, I'm actually going to take this and use it in so many other ways now. Because I mean, I don't know. Have you ever created a travel itinerary off ChatGPT?
When I went to
Yeah.
Japan, dude, I said, "Here's what I like," and it just spit out everything. And then we went back and forth a ton, and it was awesome.
So take that to the next level where it's like, when these get easier to talk to and they can like be an agent and actually book your stuff and like this is the way the world is going. And so the business takeaway for me on this is you've got to create as much content as you possibly can where the AI can understand what you and your business do and what your story is, because eventually it's going to be your business showing up under someone's thing, right? Imagine someone searches physical therapy, go, tell me about the coolest physical therapy company in my area. And it's like, hey, high def. They were created out of the back of a truck in a CrossFit gym. Two guys bootstrapped this whole thing, didn't take on any investment. It's locally owned, all of that kind of stuff. You got to make sure that the consumer knows your story and what makes you uniquely different. Because if you don't, then AI is going to not know you from whatever other competitor you have in your space. And so it only benefits you now to create more and more information on the internet that AI can easily search and is searchable to make sure that people like know how like what you're about.
100%.
Cool. That was a good podcast.
Yep. That
Good
was fun.
top good topics. I always looking forward to Tuesdays now.
I know.
All right, that's
Good
the
idea.
pod.